Today we are going to do a pick a card. Is it a dodecagon or a dodecahedron? I love the platonic solid crystal set that I have. I'll show you guys later. Here are the cards. You have the druzy quartz for stack 1. And I think it is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. The druzy quartz is for balancing. Okay, that's pretty cool. And healing. It amplifies the body's natural healing properties, calming and soothing, spiritual connection, and it enhances your intuition, meditation, and connects to higher consciousness. So what I love about it the most is it reminded me of stingray. And then it looks like, I guess I can't just say orcas because there are a lot of marine creatures that have this sort of structure, but it is just so cute and so unique. And it sparkles too. You can't really see it, but love that. So stack 1, you have the druzy quartz, and this could also signify like having grace under pressure. That could be important. Stack 2, also one of my favorites. You guys have the Celestine cluster, which sand carries beautiful and grounding spiritual messages, combining the high vibrational energy of Celestine with the earthly grounding nature of sand. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah. And it is strongly associated with the throat and third eye chakra. Oh, look. Like, so is my light, right? I forgot to turn it off. Peace and tranquility radiates gentle, calming energy, promoting inner peace, serenity, and emotional clarity and dream work. So for group 2, that could be significant to your transformation. It also talks about time or timing. So something could be significant in the near future. And it also connects to origin and returns. So group 2, that is kind of cool. Now, group 3, gold vibe or whatever. And you guys have pyrite. Now, pyrite is known for fool's gold, right? But I didn't get that vibe of the fool part of the gold, even though that could be significant for you, group 3. However, the pyrite egg specifically, because it's in the egg shape, which is also one of my favorite shapes. The birth of empowered transformation, protection while you evolve. Okay, so some of you guys may be in that realm, manifesting abundance. All right. And see, I almost gave it up because I know something about one of the groups, and it does involve luck, like this little spurt of luck. Right when something changes for you. So it's like your finances could be changing, or it could just be a standstill, or just some period of, needing to persevere more so than usual. And then boom comes this little spurt or gift from the universe that helps in the physical realm. So it could be like a gift, something that you needed or wanted, was saving up for or whatever. But I'm not going to tell you what group it is. And it's not group 3, but group 3, you also have abundance and manifesting. So we'll see if you guys pick that particular one. But yeah, I super love it. It's for grounding, creation, blending spiritual energy with physical and tangible, outcomes. So there's a few of you groups here that could be receiving messages or just some insights about the near future regarding the physical realm. And then of course this is like angelic, but don't sleep on your guides. Okay, now group 4, labradorite, which is deeply mystical. It's a protective crystal known for its captivating flashes of colors. Okay, love that. And it shimmers with hidden light. So sometimes there's something to be seen or something unseen within a situation that may require, that magical eye or whatnot. So keep that in mind. It does talk about protection and energy and shielding. I watched Twilight, like all the series recently, so I don't know if I have some Twilight fans out there, but I thought that was an amazing gift to have, which was the shielding. You could do anything. You can read minds, you can throw fire from your hands, or change time, whatever, right? But the shielding that Bella had, I thought was phenomenal. And then in one of the last scenes, when it just, you could see it visibly how it wraps around her or people that she protects. The invisibility just reminded me of spirit, so that's kind of dope. Intuition, inner wisdom for you, group 4, may be significant, as well as transformation and growth. Mystery and magic. Now, it connects to your third eye and your crown chakra, awakens insight, and opens the doorway for higher consciousness. So we will see if and which suits you. Okay, so take a moment. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we will get started with the reading. All right, group 1, let's get into it with the Druzy Agate. I just love to say that. Do you want to? I don't know if you, maybe you should say it this way for a while. Okay, I like that. All right, so at the bottom of the deck, which I thought was beautiful and significant, you have thoughts. Okay, thoughts could be very important, as one of the cards here speaks to intuition. So we'll just go over what you have and get into your message. The first card that came out for you, group 1, does your objectives still hold relevance? And I thought that was pretty deep. Of course, I sat here and was like, words are very significant. So it didn't say, does your plan, or does your goal, or does any other word. It said your objective. But the objective does involve like the finality of your vision. Okay, so there could be something significant in the recent past that is connected to the present and the near future. And I know that sounds so generic, but it is true, because you guys have a full moon and a new moon. And I was like, that's big. We just had the flower moon, which was the full moon, recently on May 12th, Mother's Day. And I know that the Queen of Cups is connected to Mother's Day in a sense. So seeing intuition and seeing the moons, it could be connected to Cancer. So some of you guys may want to check where Cancer's in your chart, or if you have any Cancers in your environment. But specifically, we're going to focus on your objectives and is it still relevant? And don't get scared and question yourself where you shouldn't, because that's where the intuition kicks in, and trust is very important. Don't say, well, maybe it's not, just because the card asks it. But do some reflecting, and we'll get to the additional cards to see the what and why. The second card we have is Nothing Lasts Forever. Oh, okay. So it is true. And I will say that if you have like the Queen of Cups energy, that card could be triggering. And some of you with the Queen of Cups energy, it's like, well, you don't know the Queen of Cups. And it's like, okay, you're right. But just for me, what I feel going over you guys' cards, is kind of like there's a calm and an inner knowing where that isn't triggering. And I know for some it could be, because there could be something that is within your objective or your goal, or a relationship, or yourself, whatever the case may be, that you'd like, to last forever. Something significant to a job, finances, creative projects, whatever the case. It doesn't have to be just love or some deep soul mission, but there may be something, and it's questioning timing and longevity and lasting and relevance and going back to the drawing board, sort of. Okay. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then boom, to see a question and then a statement, and here's your intuition. That's why I was like, don't freak out. You don't have to question yourself, but this question could just bring something up that may be in the near future or in the recent past. And you should trust yourself. Definitely should trust yourself. Intuition is a very feminine and divine energy. And if I have some guys, just chill. But it's a very peaceful, confident energy that I love. And it's given like high priesty energy. So for some of you, it could represent a soul path or even a partner. Now, sometimes the high priestess could represent like an unobtainable female. And so if there is someone you're thinking about or something you're thinking about, is it obtainable? How do you feel about this goal that you set for yourself, or this pedestal that you put them on, or whatever the case may be. So I thought that was cool. Another thing that was significant is that the new moon is referred to the new flower moon. That was at the end of April, that initiates the lunar cycle that brought about the full moon that we recently had, the flower moon, on the 12th. And it is significant to meteor showers. And it's the final micro moon of 2025, which means it appears slightly smaller due to its distance from Earth. And I thought that was unique, because there's something about small. So I did tell you guys in the intro that some of you, and this is backwards, are going to get like this nice, pleasant little stroke of luck or whatnot. So group 1, it is you, okay, that I was mentioning. And I say that because you got the clover as an outcome for a particular situation that it was highlighted by the bear. Okay. The bear, and I made that face, so don't pay me any attention, but the bear could signify like sometimes like financial issues and awakenings. It sometimes talks about tension or conflict, if not within yourself, possibly in the environment, but it also talks about like power, protection, authority, and strength. So if this is a relationship demographic, you have someone here that's more thinking kind of like big and long term and has this calm and stillness about it. And then it's being, I wouldn't say clarified, but it's being what's joining it, okay, or what's challenging it is this physical or financial or power struggle, kind of shindako. And you can power struggle within yourself when it comes to thoughts and ideas, creative projects, or relationships. So however that could work. Repetition came up. And so for those that are in their thoughts about a situation that could be repetitive, that could be a cycle, and maybe you have an opportunity to open and shut that door before it turns into whatever it turns into. And I thought specifically about not so favorable relationships or behaviors or thoughts. With spirit is like, okay, it says thoughts right there, so just focus on that. But there could be repetitive thoughts. And you was like, well, I overcame that anxiety, or I overcame that need to forgive, because the Queen of Cups is also in reverse talking about revenge, or upright is forgiving, okay, and nurturing and loving. Mother's Day could have sparked some family situations, or just personal things for those of you that may have children or could consider having children. That's pretty serious if you're in a young relationship and children come up, or marriage comes up, or what you truly want and what someone says versus intuitively, what you're thinking about them or the future. Now, the broom talks about the repetitiveness, and that's what's challenging or could be a conflict for the bear. Now, sometimes the bear could just represent hibernation. So it's like, I just want to chill. Okay. And then the broom is trying to or represents a cleansing of some sort. Just sweeping it out with the old and in with the new, since you guys have the new and the full moon. But it's challenging the bear. So if the bear is like hibernating and possibly heading toward an awakening, this broom could be challenging or intense because it's cleansing. So just be mindful of that, which sounds like a catalytic sort of situation. Now, for some, it could be, a bit challenging because of the darkness in this card. But with the outcome for most of you, or the outcome to a dark situation, it's going to lead you back into a calm, still light. And you do have the structure and stability. So if there's any challenge or conflict in your life, finances, with a boss, or just someone, an authority figure, or where your livelihood is involved, if you look at her, okay, this is literally a statue, right? So it is a structure. It is steady. It is firm. And it is bright and feminine and super cool. It also looks like an aspect of the sun behind it. So where you have a full moon, a new moon, and then you have the sun, it leads to whatever this timing is and whatever the situation is, there could be something that comes to light. Okay. And for some of you, it may be within your thoughts. And for some of you, it may be this stroke of luck. Okay. The clover represents the luck, opportunity, something small but positive and short term. And that is crossing the nothing lasts forever. So just be mindful of that. If it's been tight, okay, finances have been tight, this relationship has been tight, or somebody's just been stubborn, or there's been some conflicts at work, or repetitive stress, there is a lucky break and some short-term relief. Okay, and I thought that was super cool. So dealing with a person in power just talks about like a boss, a parent, or an authority figure. The broom, kind of like I said, challenging the bear, talks about heated exchanges or inner pressure. And then I love how the clover comes along light and lucky and brings about some sort of resolution, and also a moment of grace or an opening of some sort. So I thought that was cool. Now, the additional cards that you have were the anchor, the cross, and crossroads. And so crossroads talks about being at a point of decision making. And the original question that asks if your objective is still relevant may be something that you reach the center of and make a decision, to go right, left, up, or down. So I thought that was kind of cool. But the anchor here, we'll start at the beginning. The anchor here with your objective, okay, and the bear still talks about that long-term power or financial security, stability, authority, persistence, and building strength or wealth, a steady protector, or someone with long-standing influence. Now, that could be you. Could be someone in the environment. But it suggests that the bear's energy is entrenched or long-lasting. And this means that you could be dealing with a stable but possibly immovable force. Right? Like a long-time employer or a deeply rooted financial issue. Your personal strength or financial position is becoming more secure, or you're being encouraged to stay grounded and endure. Now, if the bear does represent a person, they are likely firmly established, strong-willed, and reliable, but possibly resistant to change. Okay. And we all know that just like the new moon and the full moon cycles come, the cycles change. And one of the new moon, actually, what did it say? It led us into spring. So the seasons change. Oh, that's so cool. Check that out. The bear coming out of hibernation from the winter into spring, getting this stroke of luck. And with this crossroad or these directions, it's like, just trust your intuition. There are some things that are about to come to you, gifts, finances, a person, a thought, a new direction, and you're going to have to trust yourself. The Clover still suggests a chance of light or ease. So while something is like feels that this is just the way it's gonna be, this is just how it is, you have a card that says, "Nuh-uh, nothing lasts forever." And how do I know? Well, because these little strokes of luck are going to boost your spirit so that you can persevere. Sometimes it's hard to persevere if there's nothing giving into you, right? And then you kind of feel depleted, or you go within, and hibernate. But when something supports and feeds into you, or just gives some sort of reassurance, it's a little bit easier to persevere. Now, if you don't have that, Spirit is still asking you to persevere. But I do feel that you're about to receive it. If you hadn't, if you don't have that little stroke of luck, or that support or whatever that keeps you going, you will. Okay. So I also thought, because some of you are all around the world, I know California connects to the bear, just like Ireland and Massachusetts connects to the clover. So some of you, there could be some travel or some consideration in relocating, or if there's like a distant relationship that you're questioning, that may be significant, and it may be heavily on your mind, or you're on their mind for a more, I guess, universal conversation. For some of you guys, that may be very political, which I was going to say, a lot of my subscribers are not, a lot of my friends are not, but for some of you, there may be. So we can expect, weather changes. You'll notice that there's like brief rainfall where there could have been droughts, or if there were conflicts in politics, you may notice like a policy win, something that is refreshing. Environmental strength or state power, you may notice changes in market tensions, labor strikes, or just shutdowns, and people dealing with things, or funding and relief. Okay, so if you or your family have been affected by national disasters, or economic crisis, or just some big and political, okay, there could be relief, all right, for you, someone in your environment, or all of us. All right, now I hope that there's not something crazy coming up that we get relief from. Hopefully we receive like some sort of relief from a situation that's already transpired. All right, now I'm going to take some additional cards for you guys while we're here. Oh, look at her. She needs some relief. The vibration of the spoken word has the power to shape the sacred space in which your spirit rests. Okay, I'm feeling that. So does your objective still hold relevance? This is pretty. Sabi Wabi. All right. Japanese. It says the art of finding beauty in the imperfections of life. I kind of think Spirit wants you to find the relevance in an objective that you could be questioning. But that's just me. This came out in your pre-shuffle too. So I'm still going to shuffle or maybe I shouldn't. But for the Nothing Lasts Forever, you have powerful present. I'm going to keep it because I saw it before for you guys. Illusion, embrace the truth. Ding. And look, this is the other half of it. Okay. This is so good. So look at that. You have like one eye. You see you see it. Okay. It says, though the veils of illusion, through the veil of illusion, embrace the truth. Through the veil of illusion. So that's like Neptune, Pisces energy. You have Aquarius here, because she looks like the water bearer or whatever. Trusting the inner wisdom that arises from my soul. And you guys did have a soul card at the bottom of the deck. So let's give it one for intuition. See what we got there. That is beautiful. I love these cards. They're so, they make me behave. They're so calming or whatever. There is power in stillness. Non-action is also a remedy. And look at that. What a coinkydink, right? That you have two statues, one facing forward, looking at her cup, and then one with her back turned to us. But remember when I said the sun? So the sun is behind her in the intuition, and here she's facing it. You see that ring around her? That is so cool. And she's resting and she's sitting. So one, she's standing, and the next one, she's sitting and she's resting. And maybe that's where the lucky break comes from, or the standstill comes from, or the change comes from. There is power in stillness. Non-action is also a remedy. So with this crossroad up here, that's very interesting. So let's do, I want to see now, I'm just being nosy. Let's do, okay, are these the two? Ooh, it's a man involved. Possibly a fire sign. And some sort of fear. A fear of loss. Oh no. Maybe it's the ego that got us in fear of losses. Because the ego is also masculine to me, just like the intuition may be feminine. And I could be wrong. This is just like my opinion, so don't start no stuff, okay? And you have the two mice, so it's like, isn't that like a childhood book? The Mice and the Man or something, child. I don't know. That's cray. Oh, and then look, you have a flower, which the bouquet, kind of represents the new flower moon or the flower full moon, if I didn't ruin that. You have a cloud, which could be confusion, okay, the veil of illusion. But then the sun that you face, child, it could be like somebody stubborn too, like trying to say, let's sweep this past to the past and move forward. And your intuition or your thoughts, I don't know, especially if it's a cycle. If you are in a twin flame sort of situation, I do know, see now I gotta grab my crystal. I do know sometimes, occasionally, you guys have like spurts of reuniting, right? Spurts, little casual, here and there's back and forth, and they could be years apart. And some may want that, even if this person is like, it ain't happening, right? It's not happening. It's been no contact for forever. And what is forever? And is it going to be like this forever? No. And then they just come differently. Maybe ready to face a situation that their backs were turned on. So I don't know. Okay, because talk about the twin flames, I got to situate myself. Okay, so let's see. For the crossroad, I got the female. Okay. Okay, seriously, you have spoken. All right, so focus on the man and the mice. I will focus. I be nosy. Oh, and see, that's what. So you got the bouquet, the cloud again, but now you have the letter and coffin. Now the letter could be some form of communication, and the coffin represents, it may be from a person in the past. And look, I was about to shuffle it, and Spirit's like, I gave you what I gave you. I know that. Ooh, the letter's coming. Ooh, and it's going to be unexpected. Jesus Lord. Hopefully it's not from a snake. Okay, let me see how many wands this is, or scratches we got here. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh. Maybe they're struggling. They're trying to find some sort of peace in their heart. But they're committed to you. I think that's for like my couples or my situations or something like that. Um those of you where, like we talked about, the finances, the future, your objective, okay, let's focus, because that was something wind blowing in. um the ego could bring about fear, and so I feel that your strength could be in not pressing, the issue, or stressing out. And maybe that within itself manifests small gains that are cleansing. And it's a new season. So you may have been hibernating, but spring brings in not only the bouquet, some letter or form of communication for some of you, but strokes of luck. And I absolutely love that. So with that, we are going to move on to group 2. And don't forget, guys, if you're interested in the free extended collective reading, check the description. If you want to skip ahead, it will be at the end of the video. Thanks for watching. All right, group 2, you are up. Your beautiful Celestine. I want to say Celestine Knight so bad. But here you are, okay, very angelic. And I know this is going to be something beautiful because it's like from the angelic realm. And I would, I bet a few dollars that for some of you, this message is from a very important guide of yours. Some of you guys may have a guide that's an ascended master. You could be on the path of ascension this lifetime or have done it before. And don't block me. But for some of you guys, I did feel like a soulmate or a twin flame situation that has some advice or confirmation within it. So let's just go ahead and get started. Okay. Your first card is take yourself less serious. And you have the sun in the center. This is an entirely different deck from group 1, but I would say maybe some of you stuck around for group 2, or you just have some similarities because we are a collective, right? Because the high priestess is here and the sun is here, like, again. I think that's so super dope. When I see take yourself less seriously, I have some very important people in the audience, and what is that, perfectionist, we tend to beat ourselves up. And those of you that, how can I say this with like not offending like other people who say, I didn't pick group 2, so they talking about us. No, it's just some of you may really care about how you come off and mastering this lifetime of this particular cycle, or how you walk out the front door, child, whatever. It being clarified by the Fool card matched the energy that came with this laugh that I had when I saw take yourself less seriously. It's like, for a serious person, that's almost like telling someone who's upset to not yell, or who's just over the top to calm down, right? That's kind of what it could feel like when you tell someone that's very serious to take themselves less seriously. But if it's coming from an ascended master, or your future soulmate, higher self, or twin flame, you might listen. Okay. Observe without absorbing. I feel like you're very smart. Okay. You are very smart. You could be very particular. And so the camera said, yeah. Because I don't know. I don't feel like this is a challenge for the first card. I feel that it's an additional message. Like, you were cut and dry. You came here to hear what it was, put it out there, don't play, and like short talk me. So I won't. But observe without absorbing. It's very important for some of you that may have the gift of discernment, because you got the, we're gonna get to it too. You got the Queen of Swords with the High Priestess, and I think the Knight of Swords. So it's like you may have a gift to discern and be very serious about it. Balance may be necessary, and how we exude that power could be a message, for the present, something that may happen in the future, or to resolve something from the past. Some of you guys could be making decisions, receiving apologies, apologizing, or dealing with legalities, court cases and all that kind of stuff. Could be spiritual, could be real life, real time. So it's kind of like lighten up, and whatever happens or whatever happened, don't let it affect you. Some of you guys, it may be a new beginning, and this new beginning may be approaching near between now and like Leo season. So it could be a twin flame situation or strong chemistry. And it's like, if you have strong chemistry and intuitively feel something, but you're guarded, that could lead to self-sabotage. And the Eight of Swords kind of is like this entrapment of self. For some of us, it's how we think. For others of us, it may be how we communicate. And for some, this may be just your superpower or strength for the situation itself. It could be someone else that has boundaries that may be guarded, that's dealing with legalities, or that's just a very serious person. And it's just like, how do you temper the moment, or have enough patience to get to know this individual or to succeed in this situation? I also noticed that it is a shadow person jumping off the cliff. And yeah, I feel like it's just one or two ways it goes when it comes to the shadow. I have clients that feel that shadow work is removing an aspect of themselves that may seem a bit self-sabotaging. And for you guys, that could be the boundary, sharp, emotionless, intelligent aspect of you. Okay. Then there's another aspect of shadow work, which is just showing you a reflection of a part of yourself that may be non-physical, because for some of you, I got a lot of non-physical cards. That's why I knew the message was coming from a guide, from the other side, from spirit, from your higher self, from a past situation that was over. Okay. And the apologies coming from it, or forgiveness. And or it just had to do with the non-visible, non-physical part of you. Okay. And it's like death to the ego. And it's like, oh my God, I love Leo. Have you ever seen like the traditional lion card with the rose in its mouth from the wild unknown? Leo is just so charming. Maybe you guys are dealing with a Leo or have Leo in your chart. There are ascended masters that are associated with Leo, but like I said, a new beginning or some sort of situation that may be coming up toward Leo season, and all that we've learned and the boundaries that we've set, we don't want to create a wall, but they may be willing to just like jump over the wall for you anyway, child, because they are maybe a younger or less experienced, and or it's just a phase in life where it's a new beginning. And who wouldn't love to be a part of someone's new beginning after all of the turmoil? Okay. To find the partner that lasts as your higher self and new self, or their higher self and new self, that could be very fun. At any rate, observe without absorbing. Don't take it personal. And that also connects to take yourself less seriously. So if anybody in the audience said, well, what do you mean take myself less seriously? What do you mean? Well, to look at it, but not feel or judge. You just looking. I learned like that. I noticed. So if you are graduating, but going right back to school for something, advancing in your life or your career or education, it's like instead of leading with force and the ego and the past, to just be present and observe it without taking it in. I can't. That's the best way I could put it. That's the only way I could put it. I love the infinity symbol here, which usually connects to Leo. Also has a connection to the magician. And if you ask me, why are you laughing? Well, when I think of the magician and the high priestess in the same room, those are definitely, I don't want to say twin flames, but those are definitely people that if they didn't have a checkered, challenging path, these are two people that are going to turn heads, because she didn't settle for just anyone. He couldn't commit to nobody. And how are they getting married next week? A lot of exes are going to be frustrated because that's just not what they do. But maybe it was the chemistry, or maybe it was spirit. Maybe, right? So I think that's pretty cool. And if you're here like, I'm married, child, I ain't got nothing to do with none of this, then here's my Queen of Swords that's being asked to not exude the force or the power and your intelligence outwardly, but to combine that with the divine feminine of the internal strength, where you kind of just sit there like wise, instead of like intelligent and challenging. It's wisdom. And it's like an all-knowing, right? You would probably need that if this Knight of Swords was reckless, right? Someone who's impulsive and just not really stable intellectually or in their communication style, I probably would not waste the strength that it takes to lift a sword. When you know better, you do better, right? That's all I have to say toward that, because it could be a very aggravated, unstable, like violent type of person or situation or thought or habit or pattern. And it takes something a little less gripping, a little less personal, a little less restrictive, and easygoing. Could also speak as like the guide strongly encouraging us to balance out either of these with the other. Okay. Now, for some of you, like I said, you are the Queen of Swords energy, sharp and discerning, wise through your experiences, and possibly emotionally reserved. Or it could be someone in your environment that's likely being guarded, and they're guarding their truth to cut through illusions, because I did kind of briefly bring up the magician here. But with the Eight of Swords, it could indicate like mental entrapment and feeling stuck or confined. And this could be self-imposed or the result of external manipulation and expectations. So we did talk about taking ourselves less serious. The Knight of Swords changes the energy fast, intense, and like I said, possibly reckless. And this person, if connected to the Fool, could be confrontational and would rush toward you, which is why I said the energy of raising that sword, we're going to save it. The King of Pentacles is the grounding force in the center that could represent financial power, stability, a father influence, or legacy. And this could tie to family. Okay. A need to reclaim or reframe what you've inherited. So I had to do that because it's like You know, some of us may have inherited things from different family members, and more than likely it didn't work for them. So that's, there's that. The high priestess calls you back to inner wisdom and silence. Ooh, look at that wisdom and not arguing with the fool. The truth is the truth. If it's the truth, okay, you can't argue with the truth, child. But she'll connect you to the moon and to the unseen. And the unseen, where's spirit? Let me see, was it next? It was like the 7 of Swords, and then you got the 7 of Wands. Oh my gosh. I'm going to just leave that right there. Because you got, at first it was, so for some of you, it could be a Scorpio phase in your chart, a moon phase coming up, Scorpio season, whatever the case. But it was the Death card and the 7 of Swords. And I took that as like a mystery and spirit, or like the unseen. Others of you, it's like somebody lying. And this is a person possibly from your past. But now that we have the King of Swords with the 7 of Wands, kind of like replacing the 7 of Swords and the Death card, is being tested. And see, look at the strength connected to the King of Wands and Leo being tested. And I feel that your guides, or someone who cares about you a great deal, is saying, here's a clue. Because this situation, this person, or you, may not choose this as the first solution. Okay. And that's nice, because when you're being tested, you don't always get clues because it's a test. And then some of us, it's like one test after another test, and how many tests, and don't play with me. Now, if I were to also see this for financial stability or something more general with the King of Pentacles and recklessness and self-imprisonment and like finances, it could be to stand your ground. Because the people around you, they weren't, what did the song say? They wasn't with me in the gym. So you may be standing your ground about an idea, but still it's encouraged to like not argue with a fool. Okay, so if they don't get it, they don't have to get it. All right, there's that. Abundance. Moon cycles, family legacy, notes to self. The person in your environment could be more so connected to the King of Swords energy. And this urgency or aggressive communication may shake your peace or push you out of alignment. And that's why our final card here is Temperance, where instead of fighting back, because we may choose through our ego to defend ourselves, this is saying, with your fire, I'm going to put water on there. And with all your water, I'm going to put a little fire on there. And we're going to have balance. So, group 2, I do hope that helps. Group 3, Pyrite. All right. So, I will say, I love the spread. I fell in love with your cards that came out first, which are the Jaguar. And just the gold cards, honey, messed y'all all the way up. Let's see if you can see it. Okay. There we go. You see that? Super cute. And the shooting star. 24 and 15 to 6s. So I thought that was interesting. There is fear involved. And so you're standing at the edge of expansion, actually. And if you can break free of mental blocks and restore energetic balance, clarity and joy is going to flood in. So it's your choice, though. And it's really important. Some sort of change is really important for you. Group 3, I don't know if I said 2. Group 3. Some of y'all may still be in here. There's a change that's important, and I feel that it has to do with the work, right, that each of us or to do. And it's like you've done so much, almost to where you even feel like you've done the work, and you may have. Okay, I'm not going to take that from you. But the cards are just saying that there could be, or may have recently been, a necessary change. And this change involved like fear. I feel like others are involved in this situation too, where you kind of reevaluate what's being given and received in a situation. And if that hasn't happened, it's what's being asked of you. What are you pouring into people's ideas or work that doesn't pour back into you? Or are you learning to receive support instead of doing it all alone? Because for some of us, there may have been some darkness, or what may even feel like bad juju, okay, that could have been from generational issues. And you are carrying it all on your own, and may benefit from receiving or asking. Now, sometimes we have a collective that is put in place, right? So we don't have to think about the trauma or the past situations where it's like they're not going to help, they're not in a position to help, they can't even help, or they don't even understand the plan, or my vision. But there are others, strangers even, that may be put in place along your journey to help, okay? But it's about carrying the load and then wondering why, type deal. So self-doubt was also a thing, group 3. Fear may be keeping us stuck, okay? If you feel trapped, it may be an old belief, outside pressure, or overthinking. And the truth is, the cage is mental and it's not real. See what I mean? So if you say, I got a choice and I got to change what? Some of us that have the perception of being saved and or having bad energy, you're just thinking it. And if you stop thinking it, it won't happen. Now, that was important. So I was getting through the importance and then like give you my intuitive feedback for your cards. Some of you may be at a crossroads because these were the first two, and this is what Spirit gave to help me understand like why I got these. So I was like, cool. If you're considering expansion or change, right? We got moving, like relocating, packing, like literally, and there's either some stalling or a stalemate or a win or the timing of it all. And originally, when I saw these cards without any clarifiers, I said somebody's looking for a sign because the panther or the jaguar, represents outside of feminine energy. Okay. A sign of some sort. And so does the shooting star. So it's like we could be waiting for a sign, and that's going to help us move forward. And it's like that could also create a prison, like waiting for the sign. Could also slow us down. But that's what I initially felt. It's like an omen and a sign. It's like somebody could be waiting for that. Now, with the 6 of Pentacles, it was interesting because I only see 4, and 4 does talk about holding on, waiting. It also talks about an inheritance of some sort. So it's very important for outdated beliefs to not be held on to because their load is not yours, right? Their burdens are not yours. And then if you had people in your environment that, I don't want to say stubborn, but they didn't get help or receive help, and there's some sort of trauma behind support, you could have just inherited that nature. But we have the Sun card here, okay? And this talks about abundance and joy and bliss. but there is something that we're waiting to receive to have it. And if you're waiting on something to kind of like change everything or to make you happy, that could be this prison that we mentally built for ourselves, because we're waiting on this thing. We're waiting on this thing to like bring us joy. And choosing not to do that, especially when you're not even aware of it, can be hard. But also, it's just a lot to bear, because it's like you asking me to put the truth and reality or whatever I'm thinking and feeling to the side and just choose to move forward without the thing. How do you even do that? Because what if it requires finances or tools? What if? How can I move forward? Well, we could do so energetically. We could do so mentally. You have to, and you're able to. Don't get upset because the cards are saying that it's a power or a force within you. And literally, you're getting a message from Spirit saying it's your perception. And I can imagine how, I don't want to say how tough that is, but if you're saying something is real and it's how it is, and the universe, or life, or just things just don't go my way. And it ain't me. I ain't doing this. I'm experiencing it and I'm receiving it. And then something greater than us says, it is you. It's not you. It's your perspective. Even if it's not your perspective, if you inherited it, or you're holding on to something from the past, it's a perspective. So I'd like that, because we can change or turn it around. Okay. Now here we have the chariots. The chariot does talk about transportation and moving forward, or taking the dark and the light and making them work together. So while we have these cards that seem like a lot of work and structured advice, we have these cards that came in real mystical and magical, like it's the sign that you're looking for, and it's right in the center. So you don't have to go up, down, left, right. It's right here, right? They could indicate like the heart chakra for some of us, or being at the crossroad. If you wonder where you are along the journey, it's like you're right in the middle of it all, because we haven't changed or made a choice, or some of us may be waiting to receive like a yes or an answer. And that's going to tell me what I need to do. Now that does happen. If you're waiting on an answer back from a job, or if you're getting serious in a relationship, it's like, well, if I'm going to plan moving forward, there are some other things that I may need an answer for before I do so. And let's get some. All right. So for the 10 wands, we have resilience. So some of you are definitely doing the work. But there needs to be a balance in the work that's being done, the type of work. And hope. Oh, I like that. See what I'm saying? This is it's two mixed energies. You have independence, but you also have hope and integrity. Integrity does connect to the balance or justice. But here we are with wings and elevation. It's like spiritual work. Oh, okay. All right. So some of us may be doing some spiritual work. Ooh, it's going to bring about some sort of abundance. You're waiting on the abundance. You got, what was that? Evolution, perception, serendipity, and abundance. So it might seem a little cloudy at first. There we are. It could seem a little cloudy at first. But you have abundance with the Sun card, and you're going to receive something. What is that? Let's see. We're going to receive security, a knot. That could be a lot of money. Ooh, You got chance. Change and chance. Change and chance. Okay, what is the Six of Pentacles? Let's see. Change and chance. Maybe that's why the Wheel of Fortune was at the bottom of the deck, too. I didn't even want to tell y'all, but... okay. Well, the Six of Pentacles, we have resilience. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And some of us are possibly resilient. Others of us are resisting. Resisting what? Listening. Ooh-hoo. And retreating. Listening to spirit. Oh, I'll say, y'all. Here you have the vessel. And it was in the reverse. Or was it? Oh, it wasn't. It was. I mean, it was, but I'm turning it around. Because you have like, y'all heard that? Something inside of something. Like what it looks like on the outside is not what it is inside. And maybe that's why the spiritual work is there. Because if you see, it's like a water jug in the back and then the actual little cup with the water. But then it's like water all around it. So it's like, why do I even need the cup or the jug if the ocean right there? So maybe I'm going to take some with me. I don't know. But that's something. So you have the chariot with the vessel. That could be the abundance. That's the spiritual change that's necessary, or spirit saying, please listen. Okay. The transition is with the Two of Wands, which indicates the need to change. I don't know if it's changing your course or direction or something changed. This change is because of the past. So there could have been some things going on in life and then they may have stopped. So just imagine like things are going really well and then they slow down. And then it feels like this is bad luck or this always happens. Spirit is saying that that could be an unnecessary perspective. Now, others of you, we have the feminine with the Eight of Swords and the number 19, which is connected to the sun. So we have the rose. Where did I see a rose? And I said I was going to bring that up. For some of us, the choice or the change is a soft life. and others of you, it definitely represents like religion, spirituality, mysticism. Because this, you see that? It's like locked down right there. This wand, this direction, this choice, the first answer we received, right, or the one way we think, it's going to have us stuck right here. You can't take that wand off the building. So to accept this wand, you have to stay right here. This additional one is flexible. It's in his hand. It's not bolted down to anything. And then I appreciated how it was even up on a pedestal. It has flowers and roses. And so I thought about the Rosicrucian and the, Kundalini and all the mystic Jewish greatness of ancient advice that was left for us to maneuver. All right. And if you're not into all of that and you're just trying to get to the water because this is where the vessel is, out this way, it just requires making a choice or a change or going in a direction that isn't restrictive. I like that. Bottom of the deck, more water. And see, he hopes. Oh, someone is hoping for it. Look at that. Here's the water and the sun. And it talks about hope. Okay. So it's like you have hope, but what are we listening to? Okay, so let me see what listening was about. Oh, yeah, I don't want that. I don't want to hear it. Spirit is like, here's this cup. And it's like, no. Why? Oh. I got to get these angles together. You see that? And my hand's just as dry as a cracker. All right, we got the 3 wands. So damn. Come on, y'all. Um, so here's the one locked down, and here's two with more freedom. And it's like, I don't want that either. But I'm still looking out at this water. That is something. And it's like, no, once you make your mind up, make it. That's the benefit of the King of Swords, is to focus. Um, and once a decision is made, it is final. So some of us could be struggling with spiritual work, in need of spiritual work, or debating some sort of change in life. Because it's like, I don't want to do this thing, but then I don't do this thing. Let's get to the happiness. So then you got the Nine of Cups, oh, with the Six of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles. So there is some sort of wish fulfillment with the Akashic record cleansing, okay, and some sort of growth. If you can grow past this thing you don't want to grow past, there's your abundance. That's plain and simple. And a crown comes with it. And there's the abundance. There's the Empress. So it's like a lesson learned. You earn a crown. And so comes the abundance. I'm nosy. Yeah, for some of you, it could be marriage. Others of you, it just talks about your belief system to maybe not be overly practical, and open your mind up to abundance. Some of you may not like the terminology soft life, but you don't want a hard one. So that's how you go from 1 wand to 2 wand, and now we're on 3 wands, because I think hard work pays off, so I don't want to be given anything. But then I'm carrying all this weight and things are hard. And when is my breakthrough coming? And Spirit's like, what? Okay, you believe in hard work and you feel like you got to earn something or deserve it, or that you don't deserve it. And you're going to work hard for nothing, so you don't do nothing. And then I'm like, okay, with this path, you don't have to do a lot. But it requires like spiritual work. It's like, well, I don't want to, that's hard. So that's what I have, group 3. And I do hope that it helps. All right, group 4. We are going to get started with your reading. You guys chose the beautiful, the marvelous Labradorite. One of my favorites, okay? And it didn't shine this much during the intro, so it is really lighting up for you. I noticed the hints of gold and blue, very significant to some of my healers, masters, high priests and priestesses. The labradorite with the ancient records kind of like refers to a stone of hidden knowledge and cosmic memory and ancestral insight, even in spiritual traditions and crystal lore. It is said to activate your third eye and crown chakras, enhancing psychic abilities and perception beyond the veil. And I thought that was beautiful, okay, because you guys got gateway and direction. These 2 cards, well, this one, well, I had already saw this card, so this card made sense. But then I chuckled because if I hadn't seen this card, these 2 cards kind of like equal that card, so I thought it was kind of dope. Some of you are directors, okay? A lot of the readings that we did today, they were messages from the guides or just advice, that could guide you if necessary. Help flicker a change in the perspective, some things like that. But for you guys, it's more so like you're the guide. You're the high priestess. Okay. And there she is. Now, I didn't notice it until now, but the structure of the pillars, like the page of coins has a color on one side, and then this image sort of reflects, her, and I guess it would be her left. And the left side is a little bit mysterious. So, your abilities, a shield to the aura, a powerful tool for accessing higher realms and staying grounded. Being grounded is very important, because you guys had the advice card come out for the King of Coins, after, or slightly before, my apologies, our Queen of Coins had come out. So it's like, what does all that mean? What did I cover up from you? Oh, okay. Well, it wasn't covered up from you, but we'll get to that regarding this Three of Cups down here, because for some of you, it's like a bunch of this and a bunch of that. And they will get what is due to them. The conflicts, the challenges, the whisperers, the naysayers, the non-believers will face judgment. Okay? Now, how you come up the ladder and how they go up the ladder are going to be two different ways. All right? So we'll just say that. But you have to see beyond, because some of you may have people in your environment or even aspects of yourself that are very practical and want to do what makes sense, or trying to make sense of it all in the physical realm. And it's like, for you, with your gifts and your abilities and who you are, that isn't the only priority that you have. So I thought that was very neat. Even though it says ancient records, there is a connection to the Akashic records. And that is, in case you don't know, a metaphysical archive of all events, thoughts, and experiences across time and space. Now, labradorite is used in meditations and ritual work to help access these libraries for the soul journeys. Some of you guys, this may just be an invitation to past life work, whether you're the past life worker or getting some like hypnosis therapy, past life regression type deal. Ancestral timelines and karmic contracts. Now, I didn't see the Ace of Pentacles, ironically, but I do have the King, the Queen, and the Page of Pentacles, so I thought that was very interesting. It may be very important for you to retrieve information from your soul's past and ancestral lineage. Some of you guys may be experiencing that right now. I wanted to also kind of touch on the character, right? So you came out as the High Priestess, but the others in the environment could be related. But there's like a difference between your spiritual community and family and your inherited family, like earthly family. So if there are any conflicts, arguments, disagreements, or like a split mind, I feel that that's because you have something that may have skipped some generations. So it's like they don't get it. They know what they know, but there could be ancestors prior to the most recent, that you're in the timeline with, that may have passed down or want to pass down some things to you that they may not understand. Okay. Now, tensions, egos, clashes, and hollow victories kind of reign around this area. Miscommunications, even if someone has won, it doesn't feel good, and the card can represent pride. Cutting words, or someone putting their interest above others. Okay. You may be reflecting on what was really gained or lost in a particular situation or someone in your environment. Now, the Three Cups kind of point to like support or reconnection of community. So that's why I said it's a difference between like how they say blood and it being thicker than water. But either reconciliation is possible or choosing to lean on those who truly support you. This card could also suggest like celebration, sisterhood, brotherhood, emotional lightness, and joy that soothes the wound. Now, for some, this could be beneficial. For others, it's challenging that Five Swords because there may be a conflict right there. Okay. You or someone involved may be asked to ground the situation. So if it doesn't resonate as you specifically or someone in your environment, this is what could be used because you are the High Priestess, you're the guide. Someone could come to you. So if I have any readers or health practitioners, or just someone interested in it all, that could be something that you may be able to help with. But it's your own decision to invest in what truly lasts and not just fleeting sort of scenarios and situations. A difficult or ego-driven moment is giving way to a renewed connection and healing, leading you to reclaim your power and stability. Don't let petty conflicts steal energy from your larger purpose, because whoever you are, you have a pretty big purpose, okay? Traditionally on my channel, the Page of Pentacles is my divine child, right? It's the cornerstone of the Ten of Pentacles, the chosen one or whatnot. And the fact that the Six of Wands come out, that's my star. That's the superstar, right? Now, you didn't get the star card, and I was looking for it because it talks about fame and fortune. But you got like future predictions, which is kind of like fortune telling, right? And then you also got the direction with the star and the gateway. So there's still like potential for some of you to become very known, world renowned, or popular for something, a gift and ability. And then, like I said, either that leads to an invitation that conflicts with the past, or these individuals may have some sort of conflict. Either way, seeing beyond, choosing your direction, and kind of like knowing ahead of time also with the future prediction. Okay, some of you guys may be into palmistry or just symbolism. This is Saturn, because I noticed you got the eyes everywhere. So look into where Saturn could fall into your chart. There may be a door or an opportunity there. That's pretty cool. And I'll shuffle out some additional cards just for this particular situation with the challenge and or invitation. But I think it's beneficial. Ooh. Temperance and the Ten of Cups. Okay. Whomever it may be, there may be within a household a need to create some sort of balance. And I also feel for some, it has to do with like overwhelming emotions, chords and connections, or just mental clutter. So keep that in mind, where it may drain the energy. So it's very important to pay attention to that, because I have the Page of Swords at the bottom. So it's like, definitely pay attention to that. If there's irritation, okay, just be mindful of that. Now, the challenge is for some of us contentment, and either that makes discontentment when people see how wealthy or successful you become, how intelligent you are, or how far along you move on your spiritual journey. Some others may not be content with that, which could lead to your own them pulling on your energy, that could take you to an emotional place of what and why. When I talked about the question with the Page of Swords, others of you could be some form of communication, so just be mindful of that. That brings about mixed feelings, mixed emotions, or some sort of energetic conflict. So just be mindful of that, okay? If something was taken from you, if someone lied or tried to deceive you, or did something in secrecy, it could even be like sending a message to the wrong person. That's not funny. But also why I smiled is because your star card came out. So when I talked about fame and fortune, it's a part of it. Like your healing, your rest, your recovery. Here is the King of Cups. While we talked about contentment, that's the lesson of the King of Cups, is finding that stillness, or the ability to remain still with the flux in the water, because this could be definite flux in water. Aquarius may play a part for some of you guys in your chart, or in who you're dealing with. May even be the moon sign, so keep that in mind. Where naturally, just given the date and time you were born and how your it it may seem some situations, well, that's I don't have to like baby feed that. Some task, okay, some situations are easier for others than some, okay, where life itself for a lot of high vibrational beings just is heavy because the energy is heavy here, right? And you come from a different place and you down here just trying, and some people may make it seem like a breeze, whereas the individual things that, like I said, don't seem that strenuous to others could affect a high vibrational being differently. So tempering and balancing ourselves and focusing on our own happiness as well as avoiding confusion may be necessary. Okay. Now, see, I knew this had something to do with it. All right. Now, if you're at the drawing board wondering when and how long, right? You're watching tarot readings and you trying to get an idea of the future, even though deep down inside you already know what you're destined to do and be and who you are. Patience is a virtue. And also planting seeds. Planting seeds now lead to success in the future. And who better to talk about future success in business and in your graduating spiritually than the King of Coins as well as the King of Cups coming out. So it does talk about wealth. And for some of you, that could also include business. All right. If this is a partnership, some maybe have strengths when it comes to administrative work, when it comes to business and certain aspects of the technicalities. And then others may just have a natural gift and like a businessman or businesswoman attitude, like the King of Cups. She has the internal, right, future predictions. I don't know. Okay. How I see it, it's like an administrator or secretary on one hand, and on the other hand, someone who invests. Okay. So it's kind of like, oh, that's decent. Ooh, that's also good. So if I knew that I was meant to be XYZ element of P, there's one part of it where it just is because it is. But we're in the third dimension. So there's another part of it that talks about investing in it and something practical about it. And kind of like mixing the elements of your spiritual gifts and abilities and then this tangible 3D real-time kind of thing. So planting seeds now that turn into future investments. And I think you're going to win big, okay? Because you have the Six of Wands, you've had the Star card come out, which I knew that it would. You also have the World card, so that talks about some level of completion. It also talks about international, world renown, or even on the internet, okay? So just be mindful of that. Technology could be of use or of essence to some of us. There may be a collaboration. The Three of Pentacles came up, the King of Cups came up, so we kind of touched on that, where I did see them as like the same but different when we specifically talked about business. So keep that in mind. And I may be speaking to healers because you got Aquarius moon, the Four of Swords again. Let's see what's on top. And the Eight of Swords with the Devil. Oh my gosh. So this though, it came back out with the Page of Swords. So just be mindful of that when it comes to a text, some level of communication, your irritation, or just someone who tries to challenge you. I don't think they have the best intentions. And with that, the Six of Swords is moving through this Five of Swords, letting your guides kind of take you through the turbulence, because it's a spiritual or emotional attack for some of you. It's not like, it may not be a text message or something physical. It may be energetic. Okay. Others of you, it could be a bright idea, a yes to a question you had. And this is more so on a celebratory, excited wish fulfillment sort of thing, that you receive like something that you wish for. This points to a strong connection in a relationship. It also points to fertility in a new idea. But if it's like the cord and the connection that's also in the Ten of Cups, then it's a catalytic sort of relationship where this conversation, this text, this person triggers you because that's a karmic tie. And you have to choose, okay, it's your choice to follow the guides or the guidance within you. Or it's like I'm trying to word it properly to not seem judgy, or you will notice a pattern, okay, of the same thing over and over and over again. So it's kind of like you didn't have the learning a lesson or being tested card. Some of you guys may have overcome that and reigned victorious, because the Four of Swords is also victory, right? And you got the Six of Wands being celebrated, the cross and the Three of Cups with the Page of Coins. So for some of you guys, you may receive something physical to contribute to a recent success that you've had, and that may ignite an aspect of you that's huge for the future. So group, look, and then you got the Two Swords, being prepared. Okay. Group 4, I do hope that helps.